Hello, you are welcome once again to another session of our video lessons. I welcome you all. This is Form 2 Religious and Moral Education. It's Religious and Moral Education for JHS2. Welcome to another session of our online lessons. Before we went on break to write examination, we were discussing puberty rites. We looked at puberty, we looked also at puberty rites, and then we looked also at the importance of puberty rites. In every human's life, there are rites of passage at every stage. From the stage of birth, you have the naming rites. Then, when one makes a transition from childhood to adulthood, we have the puberty rite. And after that, the next stage or the next rite is the marriage rite, where one enters into marriage life. Today, we want to discuss marriage rites. And for today's lesson, I'm expectant that by the end of the lesson, the students will be able to define marriage, describe the procedure for customary marriage among Ghanaian communities, and identify some changes that have occurred in traditional marriage rites. Okay, let's look at marriage in itself. Marriage is a union between two matured people, that is, a matured male and a matured female, who by law have agreed to live together as husband and wife, not as brother and sister, not as father and daughter, but as husband and wife. And in our African traditional system of marriage, marriage is a union between two families. It's not just between two people, but between two families, because the family join their sons and daughters in the institution, and the man and woman must go through the traditional legal and religious laid down procedures before they can become husband and wife. Because of the importance of marriage as a legitimate means through which humans procreate, all the three main religions in Ghana have special marriage rites. Today, we'll be looking at traditional or customary marriage rites. In subsequent lessons, we'll look at Islamic marriage rites and then Christian marriage rites also. I entreat you all to refer to your textbooks and read on the topic because it's quite broad. And I recommend Religious and Moral Education in Scope for JHS. You can get it on page 260. So from page 260 to page 263. Or you can get Religious and Moral Education for Junior High Schools Faith Series. For the 7th edition, you get this topic from page 292 to page 294. Marriage takes two forms. In most instances, marriage is seen as a divine institution. The reason why it is seen as a divine institution is that it is believed that God Himself established marriage from creation. That is, when He created Adam, and saw that it was not good for him to live alone, and therefore created Eve to be his partner. And marriage was instituted. He blessed them to procreate or give birth and multiply. And so when two people enter into marriage, religiously it is seen as fulfilling a divine institution which has been ordained by God. Then also, in other sections or in other settings, marriage is seen as a social contract. Marriage is seen as a contract because it is an agreement. So a contract is an agreement, and because marriage is an agreement, marriage can be seen as a social contract. So it's an agreement between two different people of different sexes. And what is the agreement? The agreement is that we will live together as husband and wife, and according to the marriage vows, till death do them apart. Quickly, let's look at customary marriage, like I said earlier. The traditional marriage rite or traditional marriage ceremony in our Ghanaian community is what is referred to as a customary marriage rite. In our traditional settings, marriage involves a man and a woman as well as their families. And the marriage rite, as the customary marriage rite, is done to usher the couple into marriage life and procreation. And before the marriage rite is performed, there are some steps that are taken. The first and foremost is the choosing of spouse. Formally, families choose spouse for their children, especially the males. It's either the father, uncles, or even mothers choose wives for their sons. These days, most young men choose their own partners. Sorry, I had to do this correction quickly. Thank you for waiting. These days, most young men choose their own partners. But whether you choose your own partner or it is chosen by family, the next step is to investigate the spouse. The next step taken is to investigate the spouse. And the investigation is along these lines in our traditional settings. They investigate each other's background and it's purposely to find out if there's anything that will prevent a successful marriage. They investigate to find answers to questions like, are there any communicable or hereditary diseases in the family? I'm sorry about this. Let me do this quickly. Thank you. Okay, let's come back here. Had there been any criminal record in the family? Is the family quarrelsome? Is the man or woman lazy? Can the man look after a wife? So they investigate to find answers to all these questions so that they are sure that the marriage their son or daughter is entering into shall be a successful one. This process or this procedure cuts across in all tribes or ethnic groups. After they have done this and they are certain ensure of the step to take. Then the marriage ceremony itself takes place. Now let's look at marriage among Akans. Refer to the textbook for content and play the video for the explanation like you're doing now. So this picture is not very clear, but it is just to draw attention to the fact that you have to go to your textbook and read. Usually a man who wishes to marry among Akans discuss his intentions with the girl consent. He is to make sure that the girl will agree to marry him before he informs his parents. He does this through secret meetings with a girl, and this is known as kasasie, secret meetings with a girl. The fact that we say secret meetings doesn't mean it's a meeting with bad intent, but it's because it's a meeting between just the two of them. The man then tells his mother or an elderly person about his intentions, and his mother will in turn inform the father. If the mother thinks that the marriage is not good, they will advise the son to stop. But if he's okay, the mother encourages the son, and the family begins to make a background check of the girl. And when they are satisfied, they send a delegation to inform the girl's parent about their son's intention. And this is the opunechibo, or the knocking ceremony. Usually it is made with a pot of palm wine, and some amount of money is added to the drink. The man may add some extra money to whatever custom demands, just to impress the to-be in-laws. Usually the girl's parents ask them to go and come back later for an answer. And they also take that time to make investigation of the boy's background or the man's background to be sure that the marriage to their daughter will be successful. Usually it is a custom for the father to pay the bride price or the marriage expenses of his son. But these days, most young men give the money to their fathers for the marriage rites. After they are okay with everything, they also send a delegation to inform the man's parent about their acceptance of the proposal. And then a date is set for the wedding. A date is set for the marriage ceremony. Both parents inform their relatives and family members, and the father sends a delegation to the girl's family house to perform the ceremony. There is the offering of the trinsa, or the head drinks. The trinsa is the dowry, and it seals the marriage. Formerly, or in the past, it used to be palm wine, but now they use schnapps and money. And the amount of money taken as the trinsa differs from one region or one community to another. After the girl's family have accepted everything, they pour libation and ask for protection and blessings for the couple. And then on that same day, there's another ceremony that is performed. They also pay the bride wealth, which is the tiasida. And the bride wealth is to show that the man appreciates that the family has given their daughter to him to marry. Then a date is fixed for the husband to come and take his bride away. And even after everything, the man has to send a bottle of schnapp or palm wine to the father of the girl to ask for permission before he is able to take his wife away. And on the day that the woman is taken to the man's house, the family head pours libation with that palm wine or schnapp and bless the couple again. When the woman reaches the husband's house, she's provided with foodstuffs and she prepares her first meal for the husband, the husband's family and relatives. And that meal is known as osenka or edianekesi, which can be translated into English as the marriage feast or the big feast. Usually it is followed by jubilation. In most cases, the marriage feast is prepared in the woman's home and taken to the man's house. But in some cases, it is prepared in the man's house. This is how traditional marriage ceremony among Akans is like. In the same way, among the Evers, it is similar. But for the Evers, just like the account in the accounts, they have secret meetings, they do same. But for the Evers, the drink that is presented to ask or to inform the girl's parent of their intention is called vopufu or knocking ceremony. That is the presentation or the announcement of their intention to the girl's parent. And they are also asked to go and come, just like in the Akan communities. Everything is similar. And when the girl's parent give their consent to the boy's parent, the boy's parents send a pot of palm wine to the family head to thank them. And this is known as akpedaha or Thanksgiving drink. Usually, after the girl's parents have announced their consent or have given their consent that they agree that the man should marry their daughter, the man is supposed to serve the girl's parent in several capacities. Cut firewood for them, help them fetch water, help them bring foodstuffs from the farm, and so on. Help them to work on their farm, mend their roof, and all that. And this act of service is called sagolabla, service to your in-laws. And after the man has served for some time, usually 6 months or maybe a year, then a date is appointed for the families to assemble in the girl's family house for the man to give the bride price, usually a big pot of palm wine or schnapps, and a bundle of tobacco, and sometimes money is added. These days, people add trunks or suitcases also. And the bride price or the bride wealth that is paid is called the Sronu Tabianu. And like in the Akan communities, in the Ever communities too, after the bride price has been paid and the marriage rite has been performed, a date is set for the wife or for the bride to join the husband. And before that is done, a short prayer is said to the ancestors asking for blessings on the couple. And after that, she is sent away by the husband's aunties in company of her own aunts. And on her arrival, she is warmly received by the groom's father, that is her father-in-law. And pieces of advice are given to the couple finally. and then they move on to live their marriage life as husband and wife. Over the years, there have been some changes in how traditional marriage rites are performed. Most of the customs are disappearing. Customs like sagolabla and the use of schnapps and all those things, most of them are disappearing because of formal education, Christianity, and Islam. Most parents don't wait for the man to provide a trunk full of items or big pots of palm wine and all that before they allow the woman to join her husband. And these days, some people have weddings after the customary marriage. Formerly, the expected things do not include Bible and ring, but these days, for Christians and then some educated people, a Bible and a ring is added to the list of things that should be provided by the man. And these days, the woman is not escorted by her aunties to the husband's house, but the man makes his own arrangements for the wife to join him. So you see, there have been some significant changes in how marriage rites are performed in our traditional communities these days as compared to some years back. And the causes of these changes are formal education, Christianity, and Islam. Okay, I hope you have learned a lot today. And like I advised, go get your textbooks and read more on it to get an in-depth knowledge and better understanding. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. I'll be of assistance to help you to understand. But then, to test your knowledge on what we have learned today, define marriage. 2. Why is marriage described as a contract? 3. Briefly narrate how marriage rites among the accounts is performed. I wish you good luck. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Stay safe and keep learning. Bye bye.